Well, good morning. Do we have, I think all the mics are up here, the cameras are rolling. We have a lot to share this morning, but I have several people that I want to introduce as we get going here this morning. We're going to share some news about our joint training facility. Certainly want to release a little clip, and we have some more information for you on the state of the city, and then talk briefly about the downtown Finney State Office Building. I know, Ted, you still refer to it as the Macy's building. So I have a couple of people, and I'm going to ask them to join us too up here. If the police chief, Richard Ramsey, Richard Lemunion, Mike Hill can join us too. Bob Layton, would you join us? Let me quickly introduce a few folks, though. We have a couple of council members here. We have Council Member Janet Miller and Council Member Jeff Bluebaugh. Are we missing any other council members this morning? I know we still have a couple of council members out of town. We appreciate you both being here. Let me share a little bit of a backstory and the reason why we brought up our friends over here. Richard Lemunion is a former police chief of the city of Wichita, who is now the current city administrator for the city of Mays, doing fabulous work, Richard. I take credit for everything that you do, but we appreciate it. I tell people all the time, Wichita is not successful, certainly because of just Wichita. We're successful because we have some outstanding partners around the city. Richard has made sure that Mays is one of those phenomenal partners around the city. And I just noticed Jeff Bluebaugh's wife, Megan, is here. It's good to see you. And then Mike Hill, former sheriff. And the reason why I asked both of them to be here, because on July the 7th of 1985, they christened a joint training facility together for the first time of law enforcement. Did I get that right? Now, Mike likes to share the significance of July the 7th date, because on July the 7th of 1963, those two individuals were in the Navy together at basic training? Rookie school. Rookie school in law enforcement. Right. Wow.
Yeah. He was a lot slimmer.
And our hair was a lot darker.
What I also learned today, because we have some other partners up here, that the work that they did, bringing that joint training facility to fruition, was also a byproduct was the criminal justice program at Wichita State University. And we have Michael Berger here today that is in charge of that criminal justice program. And I just think that's a fabulous outcome that come out of that. And so thank you for being here today. We also have John Tomlin, who is in charge of everything innovative, WSU, smart people. Is that your official title?
That's not, but I like that one.
And Lou Heldman today, who is a VP of Communications at Wichita State, and Lou's been around this community for a long time, and so we're very thankful that we have our partners here today. Bob Layton, who is our city manager, who does a phenomenal job. I mean, almost right up there with Mr. Lemunion, but he's very talented. So thank you for joining us on this announcement. As you know, public safety is incredibly important and vital to our region. You're welcome to, if you want to sit down. I won't keep you standing here forever. But I appreciate you being here. We might have some of you come back up during questions, if you don't mind. And so it's incredibly important to our region. We understand the significance of coming to resolution on such an important building. As I mentioned, 1985, when we entered into contract for a building that I believe the Wichita Public Schools donated, and at the time the total intent was it would become just a temporary facility till we could build something. We're finally getting a little closer, gentlemen, to building something. that temporary facility has outlived its usefulness by a long ways. So the city's thrilled, certainly, to work closely with a lot of supportive partners, and we'll mention that. Also, understand that we've been discussing improving the Sedgwick County Wichita Law Enforcement Training Facility, which is currently at the 2235 West 37th Street site, has a number of issues that we'll never get beyond. And so at the end of the day, we recognize we need to go in a different direction. The city has looked at multiple different directions. We've looked at the National Guard space. We looked at various greenfield spaces. And the one that we are going to continue to pursue at this time is the opportunity at the Innovation Campus for a couple of different reasons. And you can see some renderings up here. Understanding today's environment and the need to team with the criminal justice program and some other opportunities that will present itself, we feel that the best direction that we could go is to pursue the Innovation Campus. It just ties together nicely. We believe it will help us as a recruiting tool. It will put us in a space that we can eventually even grow into further if we so need to. Certainly convenient for us to get back and forth to. And it'll be world-class training space. I think it's also important to understand, when these discussions started, we were initially looking at a $30 million training facility with a $15 million commitment from the city of Wichita. Because of all of the hard work and the folks coming together and not so much whittling that down, but finding truly innovative ways to look at this, we're now looking at less than $10 million for a total investment, which is a $5 million commitment for the city of Wichita. That should be great news for anybody that pays taxes in this community. So understanding fully the options, certainly what we're highlighting today is a direction. There's no question that there's still hurdles to get beyond. We do not have a contract or agreement or anything that looks like we're ready to put a shovel in the ground tomorrow. But we know that this is an opportunity that we feel strongly about that will enable us to take that next step rather quickly. So we're excited about that. Did I leave off anything there, Bob, on the joint training facility that you wanted to cover?
Also, just need to mention that the county is our partner.
We're pursuing that option still. I mean, that is obviously, it's a joint training facility that don't want to get too involved with where the county's at on their end today. They still have some steps that they have to do to get comfortable with this. But we believe it's the right direction to take, and we're going to work with our partners, all of them in this region, to make this the best it can be with all of the partners involved. At the same time, when we talk about joint training, I think it's worth mentioning that we are also trying to be more inclusive with our friends at the county to look at extending some training opportunities for our fire department so that they can train jointly with us that they currently are not able to do. And so we think that's just kind of a bonus. We want to extend that hand and help them in those areas, and that's something that doesn't really cost either one of us. The facility's built. There's some opportunities for them to use that. We're trying to work through some of those issues, and so that's the kind of cooperation we will continue to seek in terms of these types of facilities. I do want to give credit to GLMV, who has shared these renderings with us, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of get a feel for the space that we're talking about. And then, as I mentioned, the criminal justice program that is under Michael Berzer is planned to be housed in the same facility. And so it totally brings everything together. I'm not sure if you two gentlemen ever envisioned that level of cooperation, but we thank you for the path that you set us on 30 years ago. So we appreciate that. We'll take questions on that after the end of all of this, so we appreciate your patience. Downtown Finney Office Building, Ted's Macy's. Want to talk about the opportunity to seek proposals. The City of Wichita Public Building Commission has issued a request for developer qualifications and initial development proposals on that building that the Public Building Commission owns, the former Finney State Office Building. The building sits at 230 East William Street and 130 South Market. It's right in the heart of our downtown. The former Finney State Office Building was formerly occupied by the state of Kansas. The property represents an outstanding opportunity for mutually beneficial development and partnership to achieve the vision for downtown. The redevelopment of nearly 200,000 square foot building represents an opportunity for creative uses and further demonstrates the movement and vitality of our downtown corridor is experiencing. So we are looking forward again to capturing some of that momentum that you're starting to see happen in our downtown corridor, and we believe that that office building is another one of those cornerstones that we can capture that momentum with, that can change the landscape of this city for the next 50 years. I will tell you that developers truly appreciate what's happening in the core of our city too. We just did a ribbon cutting at the Core 10 building, and that was a building that could have sat empty for a long time. I want to give the developer, at least one of them, Michael Ramsey, a little credit. He shared with us at the ribbon cutting that the only reason that they decided to invest money and move that forward today is because of the city's investment in their downtown infrastructure, mainly one of the parking garages that we put money back in to reopen, and it looks fabulous. And so that is doing exactly what we would hope it would do. We build the core infrastructure and private development comes. And so this is another opportunity to hopefully see some of that. State of the city, I know you've been waiting for our state of the city. We have changed, obviously, the way that we are promoting that event. We did not do the traditional state of the city that you've seen done over the past many years. A few of my council colleagues thanked me for that. That could be a tiring event. And so we're trying something new this year. We are releasing today our video presentation of the state of the city. It's a new format. We think it captures the city in a better way than it has to do a traditional stand up at the podium and hear this horrible nasal tone speak for a half an hour. So we're trying to be kind to all of you. We think also that it enables more people to hear our message in a wide variety of venues, whether it's traditional media, whether you're watching Channel 7, social media. We do have some state of the city, what do we call it? USBs, thank you. I knew that. I'm kind of a tech guy. I did not invent the internet, but I'm a tech guy. USBs to hand out for all of the media that's here today. We hope that you enjoy our new version of the State of the City. We are looking forward to, again, building on the excitement that we have and the momentum. And so I'm going to play just a really quick clip of the State of the City, and we will release the full version later today and be posting it on Channel 7. Hello, I'm Mayor Jeff Longwell, and it's my pleasure to bring to you our first State of the City. Instead of holding an event and giving a speech, we are going to provide a video that we can bring to you wherever you are. I want to start by thanking you for allowing me to be your mayor. And I also want to thank my council members for the support that they've shown me in my first year as mayor of this city. We are going to highlight some of our successes over the past year and share some goals for 2016. Good things are happening in Wichita, and let me start with a topic close to my heart, our quality of life. Quality of life continues to be a key area of focus. In 2015, we approved an urban wetlands park in northwest Wichita, which will be the first of its kind in the Midwest and will include water conservation, which is an added benefit for our community. We also approved a new splash park and approved 2 new community improvement districts along West Kellogg to improve the area near our brand new airport. On the east side, we saw the opening of the Fieldhouse project near K96 in Greenwich. It includes a 140,000 square foot sports facility with a trampoline park, which is expected to bring in more than 350,000 visitors, keeping our hotels at or near capacity every weekend. This is also an exciting time for downtown Wichita, as Project Downtown is transforming the core area. In 2015, $180 million of development was initiated along Douglas Avenue. Planned projects will double the core's residential population. Also, we made downtown more fun by building a pop-up urban park along Douglas. 3 major downtown projects kicked off in 2015. Exchange Place Apartments, Union Station, which will connect Old Town and the downtown arena, and River Vista Apartments, which is energizing the riverfront development. Core area attractions are important to our quality of life, and our central library is moving into the digital age to better serve the community. The council recently approved the new downtown library, called the Advanced Learning Center. We're excited about the many state-of-the-art features it will offer in its location on the riverfront. In 2015, we also saw cultural arts successes and milestones. We are seeing an upsurge of cultural activity in Wichita, and our downtown arena continues to bring us together. The Garth Brooks concert series alone brought 75,000 people to downtown. Hang on down till the sun comes up. People also enjoyed Final Friday art crawls, music shows, and a variety of other entertainment in the heart of the city. I just appreciate you all sitting patiently through the credits because, as you know, it takes a team to put something like this together, and we have a fabulous team. So the 13-minute clip will be out today on Channel 7. You'll have access to it. Looking forward to sharing our news. At that point in time, I want to say thank you all for coming today, especially our guests that have made a special trip up here. Mr. Lemunion, thank you so much. Mike Hill, you guys truly are visionaries that set us on that path many, many years ago, and we appreciate that. So we appreciate you being here. We'll open it up for questions and go from there. Any questions?
So, I guess, do you know if there's any updates to the timeline for the end of the negotiation period on the law enforcement training center? Because the request for proposal says that that was the 21st, and then it's subject to change. So, is there any update with the timeline?
That's not our request for proposals, so I think you're going to have to ask that question to the county. We intend to move forward just as fast as we can. As I mentioned, the direction we're most comfortable in that pays the most benefits to the city of Wichita and the surrounding community is pursuing this. We hope that everyone can get on that same page, but that's not been our RFP process. Is that accurate, Bob? Yes, George.
What is the timeline for the Finney State Office Building if bids in?
Can staff speak to that on the timeline for the Finney State Office Building? I'm not sure that we have one. Fortunately, our champion, Scott Rigby, just walked into the room, and we'll put him on the spot because he's in charge of all of these things. So they asked if there's a timeline to the Finney State Office Building and trying to bring proposals together and make a decision. Do you have a sense of a timeline you want to share, Scott? Scott Rigby, our Assistant City Manager.
Thanks. The timeline for initial submissions for qualifications, I believe, is the first 2 weeks of May. I don't have a specific date with me. I think it's May 6th is that day.
So Mayor, on the law enforcement training center, if I remember right, the last time that we were going to have something like this was out at the military site by K-96.
Yeah, that was the $30 million option.
And that one fell through because of talks between the city and the county. So
Oh, it was much bigger than that. I mean, let me just say it was, financially a tough decision. A lot of reasons to look at something different. Still would have been a facility that would have been a first-class facility, no question. But when we're looking at all of the needs of this community and recruiting opportunities and teaming with a variety of different partners, one of them that rose to the top of the list was the one that these two gentlemen initiated. One of the outcomes was that criminal justice program, and it's a little bit bigger and broader than when they were seeking those opportunities. But we just think that it's hard to totally quantify that benefit. It's hard to put all of that into a dollar and cents, but we have the general feeling that that will pay tremendous dividends and everything else that we can do out there on that site. And so we're going to, to be very transparent. Again, we just want everyone to know that's our goal. We think we can get there. Have a lot of hurdles to cross, but we do that weekly. When we look at a wide variety of opportunities for the city of Wichita, whether it's an RFP or request for qualifications, we'll go down a path and then figure out the contractual obligations at the end of that. Pretty common, Bob?
So at this point, you said there's no contract signed, no bids out there. Any idea on dates?
Well, again, the whole process of bringing that together in terms of seeking, whether it's bids or developers or any of that, I don't know what that timeline in itself consists of. Maybe John Tomlin can address that. He's had some experience already. Certainly Scott Rigby understands that process. But the process of coming together and reaching resolution and a joint agreement with other partners, I would hope that we'll have that within 30 days.
So the Heartland Preparedness Center, the one that military training center, basically, did the city and county each still provide $3 million, as I understand it, for roads, correct?
I don't know what the total dollar amount was for the infrastructure on the Heartland Preparedness Center. Do you remember what those dollars were? And was it a shared?
We donated the land and paid for the infrastructure.
So that was our donation, the land and the infrastructure. So I'm not sure the county's, I don't know what the county's portion of that was.
So after having donated the land, paid for the infrastructure, and now, obviously coming up with this great idea, obviously when you talk about $5 million versus whatever the dollar amount was before, what would you say to Wichitans who might be a little bit concerned about, we just did this other Heartland Preparedness Center?
So first, understand, that's still a terrific training center for the National Guard, and we're happy to have them in our city and thrilled that they saw the need to build such a state-of-the-art facility. So nothing lost. Do it all over again if all that was going to happen was they were going to end up there at the end of the day. Smart decision, welcome that. A lot of dividends. Again, when we have those opportunities, whether it's McConnell Air Force Base that sits on the edge of our city and all that they bring to our city, or the National Guard's Training Center. Love having that in Wichita. And what we're going to do at the end of the day is make sure they have the right infrastructure so they can make that happen. So nothing wrong with that decision. The reality is we would have been placed with the burden of an additional $10 million on top of the $5 million we intend to spend at the Innovation Campus. That would be an extra expense.
If I could, you may want to talk about conversations with Karen Tafanelli, and that this will still serve as the location for regional coordination during emergencies.
And I've had several, thank you, Bob. I've had several conversations with the Adjutant General Tafanelli that's over the state of Kansas. We have met a couple of times. I've toured their facilities up in Topeka, and we will continue to work with them for that type of preparedness that we need to be ready for in any kind of emergency. And they're terrific partners along with Highway Patrol. And so we will seek out those opportunities. We think both of these help make our community better in different ways.
The current, sorry, one more. The current law enforcement training center obviously has a lot of problems. Any projections with this plan, this announcement today of what would happen to that building?
My guess is we vacate that building as soon as possible. And I don't think it would take much to demolish that. I think Councilmember Miller could go out there with a hammer and a chisel and have it knocked down in a week.
Jeff,
Yes.
at one time, I guess you guys were even exploring the current southeast, which will be the old southeast.
Yeah. No.
Does this all make more sense to do it with WSU?
We think so. Again, it is at this point a direction we're pursuing openly so that everyone understands our desire. We think we'll get there. No guarantees. These folks know there's no guarantees yet. A lot of great opportunities to place it all over the city. Southeast certainly was something that we looked at. They've made a number of different changes with the arrangement of that. Who knows what that will eventually become. I know the 259's moving their administration over there. I don't know what else potentially can go in there. But at the end of the day, this one excites us the most. We haven't formally voted on it. We'll still have to do that. We have to figure out how we can come together contractually with other partners. We haven't done that. We just think this is the right direction to go and want to share that openly and transparently to everyone that this is what we're pursuing. Was there another question over here?
Yes, I was just curious if, have you talked to the county commission about this opportunity at Innovation Campus, and how was that received?
We've had some conversations with them over the joint training facility for the last 10 years. I mean, we've been kicking this can down the road for a while, and it's frustrating for both of us. My understanding is they have a bit of a different process, and so I'm certainly not knowledgeable enough, nor am I an attorney that can speak to the legal issues with that their process, they have different hurdles to cross than we do at this point. And so we'll let them try and get there. We think that they'll come on board. There's a lot of things that they have to look at too. But their process is a little different than our process. And that's sometimes what makes it a little challenging when we talk about all of these joint opportunities to work with a wide variety of partners, from our educational institutions, law enforcement, communities that surround Wichita. We all have our own unique challenges and processes and legal issues and hurdles that we have to jump over independently sometimes, and it looks like we're moving at the speed of government, but they're actually doing an awful lot of work behind the scenes sometimes to figure out the right steps to take, and it can be very frustrating.
One more. So if this is the option you're rooting for, do you know if this was submitted as a response to the RFP that the county issued last month?
I believe it was one of them that was submitted along with some others. So, anything that our distinguished guests want to add, because you guys are really the rock stars, and Richard, you're certainly welcome to.
I don't want to get into any of the political aspects of it. I'll talk to you as an old cop and a resident of our community. WSU and the Wichita Police Department has had a history for decades. When Mike and I started on the police department in 1963, it was a requirement that all police officers had to go to Wichita State University. The city paid for it. And basically in those days, what you came out with was a police science degree, like an associate's degree is what it amounted to. And over the years, that partnership has just continued to build. And as we continued our police careers and our educational pursuits, WSU, in those days, the Administration of Justice Department, along with the Wichita Police Department, all the quality and the qualifications continue to grow likewise. So there's always been a partnership. So this is a natural fit. When Mike retired from the city and went over as sheriff, this was a natural thing for us to do, to combine law enforcement training. We need the best quality individuals and the best trained individuals that we can provide to our citizens in this community, countywide. And this is the best way to do it. So the citizens, I believe, such as myself and others, are going to demand this type of quality institution, which brings in quality people and also brings in quality training for those officers so can go out and protect us in the community. So I just wanted to give you a little history as to our relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. You can tell why he's good at his craft. He's very knowledgeable, so thank you. Thank you again for all being here. Thank you to our other guests from Wichita State, John Tomlin and Lou Heldman and Michael Berzer. Chief Ramsey, who has a very busy schedule. Chief, thank you again for carving out some time. We appreciate you being here, and our council members too. So we appreciate it.